Welcome back to episode 28 of our expansion franchise series with the Nashville Stars. I am so glad you all are here. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you do, leave a like down below. Hit the subscription button as well if you want to stick around for more MLB The Show 25 content. But with that out of the way, let's get straight in to the franchise. And you can see here we are in 4th place after having a rocky start with a West Coast tour. We lost 3 of 4 to the Giants, and then we lost 2 of 3 to the Padres. Some close games in there, 2 one-loss games against the Padres, and then another one-loss game against the Giants, and then we lost by 2 in another one as well. So we're playing teams close, so we're playing the first few teams close. So hopefully we'll turn things around going into the rest of the season. But from those games, we did have a couple chances to get some wins. The first one against the Giants, we had a big moment where Johnny Dell came up to the plate with a game on the line in the top of the 8th inning, and he was able to put one into the outfield and give us a tie late into this. But we did unfortunately end up losing that game to a walk-off homer by Huff, and we will lose that series as well. And then after that, we'll go into the first game against the Padres, where Pete Fairbanks is on to get a big save, but unfortunately he'll allow one hit to put runners at the corners. And then after that, he was not able to make a big play and field it cleanly, and he threw it home, which could have saved a run, but they will come across the score, and then they will go on eventually to win the game 5-4 as we drop the first game of the series, our 3rd in a row, as we went on a little skid. And then the last game of the West Coast tour, we had a chance to tie it up with a runner on first and Ray McAllister coming to the plate, but he wasn't able to do anything. And then Willie Castro also had a chance with 2 outs. Both of our switch hitters up today, and they both disappointed against Broussard Gratterall, and we will lose the series there. So an unfortunate skid on the West Coast, but we do come back home against the Mets, where we'll be covering not the first game of the series, because Krimmer has been doing well. In his first outing, he went 6 innings, 3 strikeouts, and he only allowed 2 earned runs. So I'm very comfortable with allowing him to go, but I want to get a look at Ryan Nelson as he will take the mound. Our Rule 5 signing had a decent start in spring training, but his first outing here with the Stars after his tenure here back in 2027 did not start off well. He allowed 4 earned runs and only 5 1/3 innings. He did have 5 strikeouts, so 1 strikeout per inning isn't too shabby, but we look to turn his fortunes around and hopefully get a big win. So we'll player lock with him, and then we'll get into the rest of the month of April and see if we can swing this season back in our favor and not go too far down into the season. So let's go ahead and jump into this next game in our brand new altered stadium. You can see on screen now, we changed the dimensions a little bit. So hopefully this will play better to our favor, and we'll get some big wins, some more homers for our left-handed hitters, and limit some home runs for the opposing teams on the short porch in left field. So let's go ahead and take on the New York Mets and see if we can win our first series of the season. And as we were simulating to get into the game, Dean Krimmer, who we were just gassing up so much, will go down with a 2 to 3 month injury, a fractured wrist. And it is extremely unfortunate. It's giving us flashbacks to last season where we lost 3 of our 5 opening day starters. Hopefully it doesn't spur into something like that. We may have solutions within the organization to backfill him. If not, we may have to put together a rushed deal to get somebody else on the team, but we'll get into that after this game. But this is an extremely unfortunate turn. He was such a great pitcher last year for us, and hopefully he can get back soon and give us some really good innings towards the end of the year. As we hop into this one, we will be taking on the Mets, the in-division rival, the division leader right now, at home in our Star Stadium, as Nielsen will get the first fly out of the game, the first out of the game in foul territory to Robles, as Nelson was a Rule 5 draft pick in this last draft, as we've covered before, but I'm still very, very interested as to why he lasted so long. A decently young pitcher, around 30 years old, had very good potential and also a very good overall. I guess the CPU just didn't see the dividends in him as he gets Marsh to strike out and comes back and strikes out Soto with a nice circle change. He has a ton of pitches that have a ton of break. The 12-6 curveball, slider, circle change, as we get a glimpse of our starting lineup looking at Ray McAllister with a 286 average leading the team so far this season. Very, very good for the rookie, but he is not our focus today. Nelson is here as he gets another nasty swing and miss, this time on Mark Vientos up in the 4-hole as he'll go down swinging on the fast four-seamer up and out of the zone. Strikeout number 3 on the day. Let's look at another look at it here from Nelson. Just too fast for him. But in the 5-hole, Francisco Lindor, the switch, hitting shortstop. We'll check his swing, but it's a called strike 3. And that is strikeout number 4 on 5 batters. He's went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to start this game off. And then a nice ground out to Castro as he will go 6 up, 6 down as our 4, 5, 6 hole hitters will come up as Kobe Mayo starts us off with a single. But unfortunately, we ground out into a double play as we see Aaron Judge extends his hit streak to 18 games as he's looking to continue his dominance early on this season. But another strikeout from Nelson will be his 5th of the day and only in 2 in the 3rd inning so far. He's absolutely dominating the Mets, and he bounces back with another easy fly out into the gap. So Robles out there as he ranges over to make the catch. Up next, David Gomez batting .294 in the 9-hole. And he'll get on one, but McAllister has a nice jump on it, but he's not able to get there, not quick enough. This one will rebound off the wall as that will be a stand-up double. First hit of the game as Nelson started off by sitting down the first 8 batters. The 9-hole hitter will come in and ruin the great game he's had so far. But Kobe Mayo with an amazing play on the ground in the dirt, throws from his seated position, and he'll get the out at first. And he's able to beat the runner. Not typically known for having a great glove over there in the hot corner. He absolutely paid dividends right there. The tall 6'3" third baseman was able to range over and make that great play for us, saving probably a run, maybe not. With the left fielder playing in closer, probably wasn't going to be a run. But Soto this time on for a second at bat, goes 112 off the bat into right field. An absolute monster hit on that 4-seamer. This time though, Vientos goes down swinging once again. His 2nd K of the game, a backwards K this time. The perfectly placed 4-seamer up and in on the corner of the zone will sit him down. Lindor up for his 2nd at bat today, swings through the cutter. This time goes in a left field, but Dell with a great jump is able to range over and make the easy catch in left field. As we continue on through this one, we'll see the boys put on another single, but aren't able to do anything with it. Look at a chance to look at the starter comparisons here. 4 innings both ways, 2 to 3 hits respectively, but Nelson has a ton more strikeouts, 6 so far. But Robles this time almost makes the play, but it bounces off the end of the glove as Nimmo will advance to 2nd base. Could have been a catch, could have saved a hit there, but we'll start off the top of the 5th with a runner on 2nd. Guillermo comes back up and he'll shoot one down the line, down the left field line, up against the wall. And that will score Nimmo, but the runner does get halted at first, just a little bit slow out there. As Gomez, who put the first hit of the game into the outfield, into the gap, will come up for his 2nd at bat with a runner on 2nd now. But he swings and misses on the high heat, 96 on the black for the 7th strikeout for Nelson. And he has a chance to get double-digit strikeouts here in his 2nd start as a Star, as Colt Keith will double in Johnny Dell to tie the game back up. 1 run, 4 hits both ways for the Stars and Mets as Nelson goes top of the zone once again. He's had a lot of success there today, just wasn't able to place it perfectly, but it doesn't matter. Vientos, 3 strikeouts, sombrero for you, buddy. That'll be his 3rd strikeout of the day, swinging on that slider, and Lindor goes down swinging. 9th K of the day as Nelson gets through 5 innings, only allowing 1 run so far. As we'll come to the top of the 7th as Santos will come on in relief easy first out as Nemo goes pretty hard to first base, but our former first base Gold Glove recipient Naylor is able to make the play. This time Mayo will range over a little bit into foul territory to get the second out. Santos, 1, 2, 3 inning. Dell, easy play in the outfield, will get us out here as he has kept this game tied at 1 as we move to the bottom half, as we'll come to our back 3 hitters of the order, and they'll all go down 2 on strikeouts. Santos back on the bump here against Gomez. 2-2 count against the young rookie here. A slider down and away. Swing and miss. The sliders have been decimating the Mets today. They can't seem to place when it's coming, as Gregory Soto will come on to face Luis Garcia. We'll go lefty on lefty here in the top of the 8th to get us through the rest of it. He'll swing on that sweeper and be able to ground it to Colt Keith, who makes a great play over there and puts it out at first. On to the bottom half. We'll join the team here as Josh Naylor singles up the middle with 2 outs, as Ginkel is able to strike out both batters to start off his performance in this game. But Naylor keeps us going from 3 up, 3 down, as Kobe Mayo, who's batting .286 on the season, he'll ground out to Lindor at shortstop. An easy throw to Acuna there at second, as we will head to the last inning of the game as Soto, middle of the plate. Vientos isn't able to pull the trigger. This time does. Strikes out again. The 4th strikeout of the game for Vientos. He has just had a miserable outing so far. This time Lindor from the right side facing Soto. 2 outs. Can he get one more to get out of this one? He can't. Home run, no doubter. Center field, 464 off the batter's eye, as Lindor will break this tie with the solo shot. Not a terrible pitch there from Soto. Was able to put that sinker down and away, but Lindor was just able to get down there and decimate it. Onto the bottom half. Last chance here. Jose Miranda. Terrible average so far to start the season. Facing Batista. He's better against righties, but just a little too much power into the right field side, as Soto is able to make the play there. Johnny Dale up this time. Gets an absolute blessing of a call. A fastball that should have been strike 3. Called ball 2. Another opportunity this time. Looks again, slider bends back into the zone. Strikeout number 1 for Batista. Colt Keith on this time. Splitter at the knees will sit him down as the Mets take the victory. But the team didn't do too bad. Naylor went 2 for 3 today with a walk. Would have loved to see more hits from us, but sometimes 1 run isn't enough. But as we step out of that game against the Mets, we went ahead and advanced a couple weeks into the future so we can get some scouting done and just progress the season quickly. And you can see here, we are a game under 500 and not looking too bad. We are 3rd in the NL East, but we have moved up. And you can see at the start of the month of April, we were off to a really bad go of things. We got swept by the Mets, and we did turn around and sweep the Nationals, but that's not really saying anything. They're 9-24 right now. And then we lost back-to-back series against the Blue Jays and the Orioles. But we finished out the month in a really, really impressive way, winning the series against the White Sox, the Cubs, the Rockies, and then eventually we did beat the LA Dodgers in a 2 out of 3 series, and we are on our way to getting redemption against the Padres with 2 wins in a row against them as we come into the 6th of May. And we are starting to turn things around, and looking at the wild card race, you can see the Braves and the Reds are in 1st and 2nd place, but the fight for 3rd is pretty tight. Basically just a game separating 3 or 4 or 5 teams right here. And if you look at our run differential, we have a +15 run differential, which is the biggest out of the teams that are vying for a spot. And our last 10 were 7-3, and these teams up here aren't as good, except for the Braves, who are 9-1, doing a good run as well. And then if you even look at in the division, our ERA is right around 3, which leads the division. And our only pain point right now is, I think, our average, looking at 247. Our on-base percentage as well could be a little higher. We're right around the place where the Braves are. even though our ERA is a little better. So our pitching is definitely holding us down in a good way. And looking at the roster, Ray McAllister in the leadoff spot at 218 average, not the greatest in the world, but the slugging is really keeping him on pace of having a decent year in that leadoff spot. 5 homers, 19 RBIs, and looking very, very good. Josh Naylor, a 280 average, 7 big bombs, and 22 RBIs. Kobe Mayo, our new addition this year, not too shabby. 232. His hit a little bit of a cold spell. Was hitting around that 300 mark for the first 2 or 3 weeks or so. His OPS has dipped a little bit, but I think he'll get back into those numbers. Jose Miranda, who we brought in from free agency to be a big righty hitter, a big right-handed pitcher hitter, and hopefully he can turn it around. 211 average, and as we move out throughout the list. But Colt Keith is making an impressive run here in the 7th hole for us. He has 6 homers, 22 RBIs, 527 slugging with an 855 OPS. And he's by far our best player so far today. He already has a 1.1 WAR, and we're only 50 or so games into the season. So I'm very, very impressed with our roster, with our lineup, and I'm looking to hopefully see them make another turn and make a little run and push for a very good average across the team. But as we come to the pitching rotation, this is our issue. You can see here there's some new faces. Micah Bell, River Ryan in the rotation. We brought up Noblemeyer and Chris Patton in long relief roles, and that is because we are having some flashbacks to last season. Dean Krimmer down, fractured wrist, 30 more days on that. He was injured at the beginning of this episode. Johnny Brito, recently injured, broken forearm. Edward Cabrera, torn finger ligament. He'll be down for another 45 days. And just to top things off, Jay Bashirs, who we don't really need, but he's also, down for 2 months. So we are having a very, very poor season in terms of injuries very, very early on. Hopefully that, stops. Hopefully that doesn't continue into the later parts of the year. But right now it's not looking too good. But somehow, some way, we have continued to still put good product out. Brady Singer, a 2.5 ERA. Micah Bell, a 2.8 ERA. River Ryan, right around a 3. And Ryan Nelson has a little bit of a bloated ERA at 4.18, but the whip is still looking good. Strikeouts per 9's also looking very good as well. And Joey Cantillo, who has been our weakest arms in terms of ERA, but still has a 1.21 whip, which is mightily impressive. Noblemeyer hasn't gotten any work yet. But Chris Patton in 5 innings of work out of that long relief position, which is probably only a game. Looking at 1 game, he was able to hold him to 1 hit in 5 innings of work. So very, very good. He also got a win out of that long relief role. Aaron Ashby, a sub-1 ERA. Hunter Harvey, a whip around 1.2, ERA around 3.8. 21 strikeouts, 19 innings of work. Scott Efros, who we again brought in to fill in for some injuries, has been getting kind of blown up. But honestly, I'm not too worried about that. Gregory Soto, a 1 whip, a 1.6 ERA. Gregory Santos, a sub-1 ERA, a whip around 0.6. So we're having very good runs of it. My only concern in the bullpen right now is going to be Pete Fairbanks. He's had 5 blown saves this season. He does have 10 saves in total, which is, very good in terms of how many games we've played. But the 5 blown saves is a mighty concern for me. His whip around 1.7, and he's starting to regress pretty significantly. And I don't know what we're going to do. We may have to transition one of our setup men into that role in the future. But for now, we'll give him a couple more weeks of work and see if he can kind of work himself out of it. But as we're working throughout the weeks, I kind of want to give you a showcase of the draft class so far. There's a ton of starting pitching, which we don't really need a ton of starters. We may draft one later in the rounds just to give us a little bit of depth there. But we've kind of decided that we're going to go after 3 different positions this year. A closing pitcher, a first baseman, and a shortstop. We're still working on trying to get a true shortstop, the generational shortstop, or somebody that's going to be there long term. We drafted Tyler Brady last year, but he just wasn't exactly what we wanted. We did miss out on a generational prospect who went to the Tampa Bay Rays, and he is the best player in the minors right now. And then we also want a first baseman. Josh Naylor isn't going to be there forever. He needs to be backfilled at some point, and I think this year is going to be the year that we need to do it, just so we can have somebody that develops down the line. And as we are saying that, the first baseman, the top overall pick right now is Lauren Wells. He looks absolutely amazing, and unfortunately, I feel like he's going to go 1-1. He's not going to fall to us at the 10th pick, but if we could get him somehow, it would be game-changing, game-breaking type of stuff, but we're not even going to worry about that. Looking down the list, we can see into the 10s or so, we have some players that we think could possibly be some draft picks. Around our 10 spot, we have Chris Santos in that 12 hole. He looks all right. He's a little young. We don't have him fully scouted yet, but we'll get that throughout the next couple of weeks. But he does concern me a little bit just because he is so young and we're not really looking for pitching. Junior Rosenberg, right at the 10 slot projected for MLB, but we have him going top 3. So hopefully the CPU misses on this guy, but he looks good. The potential is there. The overall coming in could be there as well. He absolutely destroys lefties as a righty batter. He's a little bit shorter, but honestly, that may play in our favor as a smaller strike zone would help him in that terms of, plate discipline and stuff like that. The fielding is all right as well. Not too bad as there for a first baseman. Typically, you don't really concern yourself with that just because first basemen aren't the biggest importance in the field. And in speed, again, not going to be interested there. You're really just looking for a big bat, and I think he could fit that mold, but we'll have to wait and see if he falls to us down at the 10 spot. And that will bring us to the end of this episode. So hopefully we can keep things going. We're 16-17, 7-3 in our last 10. We have a 4-game stint coming up against the Milwaukee Brewers. And then we have another 4-game stint against the Braves, where I think we're going to do something a little interesting with this series. I saw scrolling through my TikTok a couple days ago, there is a stadium that is the Bristol Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. And I think we're going to play a game there just to give it, some flair and stuff to add a little bit more immersion. They are playing a game there this year. I'm not sure who's playing. I think it is the Braves and maybe another team, but we're going to play one game there, give a little bit of a fun switch up of stadiums. I think it'll be fun. It's just going to be one game. We're not going to do anything crazy. So that's where we'll be going next episode. So I hope you all enjoy this one. I hope to see y'all back in next episode where we're hopefully going to keep progressing through the season and keep going on a hot start to the year. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And a huge shout out to Chris, our very first premium channel member. Thanks for all your support, man. It's really appreciated.